Hi guys, welcome to another another Able Yap. Today I'm gonna be talking about getting out of the victim mindset while being a person of color. Well, the victim mindset, I'm sure you have heard about it many times. And if you haven't, I'll leave a quick video in the description that will explain to you. Most of these videos though don't explain that sometimes the odds will be against you. Being a person of color with an accent who is gay, working in a primarily white setting, sometimes it feels like, yes, I am the victim and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, before agreeing or disagreeing to that, we need to acknowledge that homophobia, racism, and all these things have held us back for years. Every time we feel like we get closer to fail, something happens on your day to day or on the news that make us feel like we're stuck. And we will remain stuck because we're minorities. If you feel like these things are actually holding you back from getting a promotion, starting a new job, getting a raise, or just pursuing a proper education, you could be right in a sense. I have to remind myself every day that it's okay to take up space, to move forward, and just something that really helps me is thinking of all the other people who look like me, who I can relate to, who are out there and have still, besides the odds, have made it through, you know? A good example of this is AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, um, a person of color from a low-income neighborhood who is a woman, a person who, by being a woman, has already less opportunities than me. Just from that, why can't I make it? But I could, because I mean, she's right there, she's doing it, you know what I mean? I'm sure you can find many people who relate more to you or to your situation, who you can find inspiration on. And that's one of the first tips that I can give you on how to get out of this victim mindset, I guess, as a POC. But yeah, look for inspiration. People who you know who are privileged, but made. AOC is also a great example of speaking up for yourself, which is gonna be my second tip. Speak up for yourself and other people without letting this like victim energy get in the way. Like AOC does. I'm actually gonna leave a quick video. In one of her most recent speeches she gave, where she's talking about healthcare in this video, but you can see just from the choice of words and how she just presents herself. She presents the problem, she makes it known, but she doesn't make like this, like, she's not trying to look for any pity. Like I said before, like, no victim energy. It's really hard to do, but we need to work for it. We need to work with it, you know? I mean, she's just, again, I'll leave a video. You guys need to watch this, I feel. Instead of sitting in your room crying about how the system's rigged, and this is why you can't get a promotion, a raise, become punishment, become part of management. I feel like we should fight for it. We try to minimize fights and confrontation by shutting down, just to bring some sort of comfort. But this isn't gonna bring you long-term peace. One day you're gonna be old and you're gonna be like, why didn't I speak up for myself? Why didn't I make my opinion known? Did you ask for this raise? Did you do enough to get this raise? Or are you just gonna blame it on the system and deprive yourself from all the things that you are worth, things that you deserve? the system wants us to have these limiting beliefs, I feel, so they can benefit from it. I mean, they want a few to succeed and the other to fail. It feels like we don't have control. There's like exterior factors that are presented to us as normal, but they're really not. That company that's not appreciating your work, those friends who don't really appreciate you because of the color of your skin. Think of all the money you can make or happy memories you can make by just believing in yourself, or maybe like more work related, like just all the success you can have within a company who actually believes in you. I want to speak from personal experience because I mean, that's the only way I can speak from. You know how many times my ideas have been ignored, have been overlooked, I get taken for granted just because I have an accent. Imagine people who even have like more powerful accents than me, you know? How do they feel? There's this thing that Sofia Vergara says in Modern Family. And it goes, "Do you even know how smart I am in Spanish?" And that really resonated with me because you hear many stories from minorities who moved to the US, like there were doctors, lawyers, teachers in their foreign native countries. And then they come to the US and then they get put on this like lower level of intellect just by society. Even like some people with like really strong racial biases might even perceive them as like illiterate. They're even perceived as like illiterate. And we know this is not true. When I moved back to the US, I switched from having top grades in Mexico, going on competitions, just being top of the class, being pushed into a classroom, to being pushed into a classroom, lower classroom, to not being able to make friends that I wanted because of the coincidence, the little tiny detail of me not speaking English. But I'm really proud of myself in the sense that that didn't really stop me as a teenager, preteen. I really did fight for learning how to speak the language. And by high school, I was back at academically where I wanted to be. The accent lingers, but I grown to accept it and welcome it. It's honestly the one thing that makes me unique, I feel like. So it feels like sometimes instead of a curse. Um, and so I guess this third tip is to learn how to live in the storm, because once it strikes again, you're gonna know what to do. I mean, just going back all the way to my sorry childhood, um, I actually didn't speak Spanish when I moved to Mexico. So as a child, I had to learn Spanish in Mexico, then switch it again. How I knew how to do that even as a child, um, because I had this childlike wonder, you know, the spark. Don't let them steal your spark, you guys. It is not cringe to want to learn something. It is not cringe to want to make your life better. This is not cringe. When my accent was stronger, it was really hard to practice because I didn't really want to be made fun of. Honestly, duh, who wants that, you know? So it was really hard to practice, but I wanted to do it. I picked myself up and well, I did it, and here we are. Finally, I just want to quickly for the third tip, and I was gonna make this video 3 tips. Um, is the law of attraction. You know, if I don't chase, I attract. Is a really popular I guess a law, you know, or practice. Sorry, theory. Um, I don't chase, I attract, you know? And I want to give like a quick actual visual of this because the law of attraction also applies to negative things. It applies to negative things, and that's something we don't think about. You need to be close to things. So, for example, let's say this is kind of like what do you call it? Like a symbolic visual. Let's say this pokey thing is a person making fun of my accent, saying something homophobic to me, you know. But it can't poke me if, sorry, this visual, okay, like I said, this is not cringe, I swear. This thing can't poke me if I'm not close to it, because you see, magnets only work if you're close to them. Like, ouchie, sometimes it's really hard to control who's around you because of your job or just the community neighborhood you live in. So try to distance yourself mentally. If you can't do it physically, do it mentally. You can distance yourself from these people because you work for them, you work with them. Just distance yourself mentally. Don't pay attention to them. If you're not close mentally or physically, it can attach to you. Now, if you have somebody supporting your journey, somebody who teaches you things, somebody who's gonna give you energy, like just an energetic feel to them. Again, we want to get close to them mentally and physically. Oh, what the heck? We want to get close to them mentally and physically, because like this, you want a blessing, but you don't surround yourself with blessings. How is this gonna call this? How is this gonna call you if you're not close to it? Sorry, it's a little visual. Again, this is not cringe. I freaking swear. So those are my 3 tips. I really hope you guys learn something new from this. These are really popular. I know I'm not reinventing the wheel. These are really popular laws. There's plenty of videos about this stuff. I just wanted to make this video kind of to like relate it to POC people, you know, people of color, people that look like me, people who sound like me. And I feel like, yeah, sometimes it feels like there's no hope, but trust me, there is hope. Anyways, bye, people.